So this is a super simple flight planning example just to show you on ForeFlight, typing in McClellan, enter, and then Chico, enter, and we're just doing a straight line direct route with any diversions. And I already selected my performance profile for this flight, which you'll create with your CFI. And then if you click on the actual route, like the pink line, you'll get the distance of that leg. So on this, I tapped the little suitcase to pack for the trip so that I can download all of the relevant information like the NOTAMs and the comments for this particular trip on this particular day. And then I'm just changing the time for my estimated time of departure. Let's just say 8:30 this morning. And then we send it to flights. Here's where you're going to get your nav log, your weather briefing, and plug in any additional information that you want. So here's the nav log. Gives you McClellan, top of climb, top of descent, and then Chico with all of your legs, all of the fuel, the distance remaining, the headings you're going to be on. You could print this out, which I would recommend that you do. And then here's the briefing. This will give you all of the weather information for your departure airport, your en route, and your destination airport, including the winds aloft. This is essentially the same briefing that you would get from a weather briefer on 1-800-WX-BRIEF. It's in the same format and includes the same information. If you have any issues interpreting this information, you'll discuss it with your CFI, or you can call 1-800-WEATHER-BRIEF and get some updated information and ask your questions to the briefer and basically get a free ground lesson on checking the weather. But here's the information: the aircraft, performance profile, my route. I'll make sure my altitude selected is correct. I'm going about northwest, so it should be 4,500 or 6,500 if I wanted it to be. Now, if you wanted to find flights from like the main chart page, you would either go to the little hamburger menu with the 3 lines on the bottom right corner and find it there. But because I recently was on flights, it's just right on the bottom here. And then there's my McClellan to Chico flight plan. And then I would probably select an alternate. I usually do, just if I can't make it to my destination. In this case, we just did McClellan again. And then make sure your performance profile is plugged in. These are the ones that I created myself. Again, you'll have to use the POH and your CFI to make those. Make sure you have the correct aircraft plugged in. Make sure you're on VFR flight rules, not IFR. Check your altitude. Make sure you're all packed for this route. So here I need to pack some information and it has it downloaded. So that's all good. Make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi when you do this. And then you could actually file a VFR flight plan using ForeFlight, which is different than a flight following. Here's where you would come to do it. I'm probably going to change the true airspeed from 90 to 80 knots because we don't really go that fast in the 150. But this is essentially, you would file this and you will not be in the air traffic control system, but you would file this with flight service. Whatever the nearest flight service station is in Sacramento would be the Rancho Murrieta flight service. And essentially, you're just letting somebody know when you're leaving and when you're supposed to arrive and where you're leaving and where you're supposed to arrive. And if you do not call them to close your flight plan within 30 minutes, they're going to start looking for you. So it's just for peace of mind of having somebody kind of in your corner and looking out for you. I would recommend for sure doing a flight following for all your flights and definitely file a flight plan for those longer VFR flights. There are certain airspaces where a VFR flight plan is actually required, such as the Washington, D.C. Special Flight Rules area, but you'll go over more of that stuff with your CFI. But here's where you could file a VFR flight plan, and when you do your instrument training, this is normally where you would go to file your IFR flight plan. But important to know, if you're on a VFR flight plan, ATC does not know that. So you would not open the VFR flight plan with ATC. You would open it and activate it with a flight service station. And again, in Sacramento, it's usually Rancho Murrieta flight radio or Rancho Murrieta radio. And the main difference between a VFR flight plan and flight following is with air traffic control, and they're essentially holding your hand the entire time and giving you traffic advisories, weather advisories if they have time and the bandwidth. A VFR flight plan is just letting someone know, I'm taking off at this time, I should land at this time at this airport. If I do not call you within 30 minutes of my estimated time of arrival, I might have crashed somewhere or something might have gone wrong and I might need search and rescue to come looking for me. And here's where you would find all of the different frequencies. You'd contact NorCal Departure to get a flight following. You would contact Flight Service to activate and close a VFR flight plan.